The honorary degree will now be conferred. Mr. President, will you present the honorary degree candidate, Rafe Mair?
Mr. Chancellor, the name Rafe Mair is synonymous with British Columbia. As a lawyer, politician, writer, and broadcaster, he has been a central figure in the public life of this province that he loves so dearly. He has challenged orthodoxies, championed common sense, and defended the well-being of British Columbians. He was born in Vancouver, studied law at UBC, and ultimately founded Mair and Company, now Mair Jensen Blair, the largest law firm in the BC interior. His sense of civic duty propelled him into politics, first as an alderman in the city of Kamloops, and then in 1975 as a social credit MLA. He held several key cabinet posts and worked tirelessly for the public good. One of his finest hours occurred when, as Minister of the Environment, he valiantly defended our province's interests against the United States and successfully negotiated the salvation of the Skagit River. It is as a broadcaster and journalist that we now know him best. From 1981 until 2003, he was our most listened to radio commentator, and we tuned in daily to hear him address issues great and small. He fought courageously against Alcan Aluminum's Camano completion project, gave voice to our concerns about the Charlottetown Accord, informed us about pressing health issues such as diabetes, and opened the airwaves to frank discussion about depression. Regardless of the guest, he is unfailingly respectful but also unafraid to speak truth to power. His willingness to engage with ideas extends also to print. Over the years, he has written 8 books, as well as numerous columns for many papers, including the Financial Post, the Globe and Mail, and the Georgia Straight. Today, he hosts his own television show and continues his advocacy for the environment as the official and most passionate spokesperson for the Save Our Rivers Society. He has received the Michener Award for Courageous Journalism and the Bruce Hutchinson Award for Lifetime Achievement. The National Canadian Mental Health Association named him Media Person of the Year for 3 successive years. In 2005, he was inducted into the Canadian Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame, and now we pay tribute to this outstanding British Columbian, who is not only one of our own, but also one of a kind. Mr. Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate of this university, I ask that you now confer upon Rafe Mair the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Rafe Mair, by the virtue of the authority vested in me and in the Senate of this university, I hereby admit you to the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. Mr. Mair will be hooded by Dr. Bill Crane, Associate Vice President, Academic, and Ms. Kate Ross, Registrar.
You just turn and face the audience.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you, Dr.
Congratulations.
I'm going to start to display the
It is with pleasure that I now call on Dr. Rafe Mair for his convocation address. Dr. Mair.
Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, honored guests, graduands, and ladies and gentlemen. I am greatly honored, and I think I can imitate President John Kennedy, who is a graduate of Harvard, who got an honorary degree from Yale. As I say, I too have the best of all worlds, a UBC education, and a Simon Fraser degree. The fact that Simon Fraser University is not now and never has been part of the establishment is amply proved by them conferring this degree upon me. I noticed a number of references to my hero, Churchill, and I thought this might be apropos to the students. Churchill once said, "I don't mind learning, but I don't much like being taught." Let me say to the graduates today, it was 53 years ago that I obtained a law degree at UBC. And just before the great day, the rumor went flying that any student who had not paid his parking tickets or had failed to take his physical education courses as required would not get their degree. And I fitted very neatly into both situations. As I sat in the hall with my wife and baby behind me, my parents and in-laws in the gathering, a man from the athletics department went to the front and took the mic and asked Mr. Mair to come forward. What was I going to do? Had I come all the way here to be knocked out by avoiding PE 101? I could raise the money for the fines, but I don't think any amount of running on the spot in front of the chancellor would have given them any proof that I was a PE grad. Well, happily, it was a phone call for my father, and I got my degree. In 1965, when SFU began, it was, and it still is in many ways, the new kid on the block, breaking new ground, testing new ideas, always looking forward, always needing to prove itself. Thinking that should be an ongoing exercise, and thinking is what this great institution has taught you. And as you use your thinking for the ongoing exercise, don't be afraid if your opinions change. As Emerson rightly said, foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. Unlike many who grow old, I found myself becoming more conservative, but only in an environmental sense of that word. As I've watched the consequences of unrestricted capitalism, I've decided that, for want of a better term, I better move somewhere else and perhaps a little bit left. But where one is or has been doesn't matter, as long as one keeps testing their opinions against the evidence. I often catch hell for this, but I believe that anyone who has not been affected by the events of the years that I've lived — I grew up in World War II, had family during the Cold War and the terrifying Cuban Missile Crisis, then experiences, as you have, the fall of Berlin, the unraveling of the Soviet Union. Anyone whose thinking has not been challenged by these events, one way or another, has allowed themselves to be hypnotized by their own laziness. All my life, in everything I've tried, I always felt like the new kid on the block, and I still do. But mere mortals like me pass on, but institutions like Simon Fraser University are with us in our community for the long haul. That will ensure that it will always do what universities are supposed to do: learn as well as teach, be unafraid of today as it speaks out about the lessons of the past and tries to match them to a perceived future, doing its thing by being utterly unhobbled by political correctness, always remembering the difference between instructing and teaching. It is for you, you graduates, to profit from your stroke of luck in being here, where the majority of people your age and all around the world can't say the same happy thing. Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, if these men and women take from Simon Fraser not only the formal education you have given them, but also the atmosphere and attitude this great university has always had, they will be much, much needed additions to the society that Mr. Chancellor and Mr. President, you have described. They will be needed not just for their learning, but as constant reminders of the freedom of spirit you, in your university, and your colleagues have imbued in them, and the atmosphere you have provided of freedom, freedom to think as widely as they can. Simon Fraser has instilled all of this and more with you. Go then, graduates, into the world. I'm not proud of the way we left it for you. You got a lot of work to do. But go out into the world and make the difference this great university has equipped you to make. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mair.